Hey Qween!
Now, how long have you guys been working together? Like, how long does your friendship span? This is a celebration of your sisterhood. Let's get into all your details.
1991.
Wow.
1991.
Really?
Yeah. I moved to New York in 92.
Feels longer.
Oh, and is that what you looked like in 1991?
No, that was like 95.
96.
Now, can you take us back to the day that you guys met and what that was like?
Oh, Sherry can.
Oh, for sure.
She knows all the facts. Well, she met a legend that day. No. We went to a coffee place, right?
I used to work at 6 Gallery Coffee Shop, which was on Santa Monica, down next to...
Wait a minute, you worked there?
Yeah. I wasn't working that night, but I worked there.
And you didn't know that, Jackie?
This one also worked at
French
the
Market.
French Marketplace
Right.
I met Candace.
with Candace.
Right, there's such legendary
Honey.
girl group beginnings.
Right.
Legends scrubbing the brass down at the counter, French Market. That's glamorous. We worked at 6 anyway. There's this coffee shop. This was before Starbucks when it was like, ooh, what's a cappuccino? I'll try one of those. And, you know, it was like
Electricity.
what? And anyway, I was in drag. I had just started doing drag, and I walked in, and she was sitting there in drag, and someone introduced us. And she just off the cuff said a line from the movie Carrie. And I said the next line, and she looked at me and said the next line, and literally went back and forth, and I was like, okay, I think we're in love.
We did the whole movie.
And literally, we were inseparable.
Wow.
Then we did the entire movie Carrie. We cut maybe a little bit with sock puppets. We spent 3 days making sock puppets and a thing, and we did the entire movie Carrie.
At Trade.
No, it wasn't at Trade. It
Was
was
it
a
Simpson
downtown.
Oh,
It was this place
LATC.
called The Other 45 Minutes, which is obviously a reference to, like, everyone will be famous for 15 minutes. And we did it, and there was hardly anybody there, and it was this weird downtown space. And I mean, this was 20-some years ago before
Wow.
downtown. I mean, you know, we were like, oh, we're going to get murdered. So we did the entire thing. I mean, literally over an hour long of Carrie with sock puppets, and then swapping her out, and she's covered in blood, and the music and sound effects, like all of it. And hardly anybody there, and we had such a fucking attitude about it. I did anyway, because she's the nice one, but I'm a cunt. And I was like, kind of putting my stuff together, like in a bad mood, and I hear this voice go, "You were great," and I look up, and it's fucking Lily Tomlin.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys were together at so many legendary parties in New York City, including the Mario Diaz years at the Cock for Foxy.
Yes.
What are some of the craziest things you can remember from that time? And maybe tell the kids a little bit what that party was like.
I remember one about both of us, although it didn't happen at the same time. But my favorite story from that period was, first of all, it was where everyone went. So even if we weren't working there that night, wherever you were, you went there.
You
and it
ended
was
up
Justin
there, yeah.
Bond from Mike. Everybody ended up there. They would close and put the gate down and continue the party.
Well into the morning.
Anything goes, anything goes. So much fun. And this one night, I was on stage doing something, and this gorgeous go-go guy was dancing and everything, and he was on. I was like, oh, okay, I guess he's gonna stay there. Well, I'm singing whatever. And I'm singing a song, and I'm like, why? Something is leaking and dripping on my leg. And I look over, and he is literally peeing on my leg on stage while I'm performing.
Wow.
And I was like, this is hot.
I have a similar story where I was singing a new song that I thought was just going to kill, but no one was looking at me, and I sort of look where everyone's looking, and the back room was behind the stage,
curtain.
but the curtain was open and some guy was getting a blowjob, and I'm like, I can't fucking compete with that.
It was the weirdest thing that you're on the stage and there's a curtain behind you, and literally on the other side of the curtain is the dark room, and it was always like, let's see what's going on. And I was like, oh, all I can smell is poppers and poop.
And Mario did a party called Foxy,
Right.
which was Saturday nights, and it was Justin and me and world famous Bob were the hosts, and people would get Foxy dollars. It was like Monopoly money when they came in, and then all night people would do things to earn the Foxy dollars. Like, give me 500 Foxy dollars and I will make out with you. Or they would do things on stage and get tipped, and then whoever had the most at the end of the night won real money, like $100. So I remember one Thanksgiving, or the day after Thanksgiving, this lesbian gets on stage and pulls a turkey leg out of her vagina.
Wow.
And takes a bite of it. And then there was Krylon Superstar, who always did like stuck batteries up his ass and then put a light bulb in his mouth and it lit up.
Stuck a corn of cob up his butt, jumped up and down, and spit out popcorn.
Yeah. So a lot of fun stuff
Classic
like that.
performance on.
But I also remember once there was somebody who did a fire act, and this was like a total like shithole with like really low ceilings, and I was like, we're all gonna die. And once I almost passed out. There was like no oxygen in the room. Anyway, this isn't even
I remember
fun.
you knocking
Yes, it is.
someone out.
This is the kind of show we love, Jackie.
Terrible.
I remember you knocking some girl out.
What?
She pulled your wig, and you turned around and slapped her, and she went.
Oh, well. Oh. Yeah, they need to learn. I mean, seriously, they need to learn.
Any tea on a legend season beyond just Simple Hopes and Dreams? And would you guys do it if asked?
We both
Fuck
just
yeah.
signed the contract. It's definitely happening. No, of course we would.
It's a rumor right now, and would love for it to happen. I've been campaigning for it for years.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you think when the legends all got together that some people would think they were too good to do challenges? Or would everyone be so happy to be there that they'd be willing to play along?
I think that, especially if you think of the pool of people who would probably potentially be on, we're all friends. It would just be hilarious.
I just
and
think it
fun.
would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think, Because there's a part of me that's like, depending on the challenge, like there are a few things I will not do. There are a few things I cannot do. There would be no death drops.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it would be tailored
For
for
legends.
seasoned queens.
Seasoned
you
queens.
know?
Yes, exactly.
Oh, I hope that happens.
Oh my
I would
God, me
love to
too.
do it.
Look,
Yeah.
anyone that says they don't want to be a TV star and make that kind of money is lying.
Exactly. And it would be a welcome upon the legendary
Well,
of
I
the
think
groups.
that like probably the VH1 or whatever is probably like, keep it young, but you know, they wouldn't lose an audience, and then they would get gay men our age who don't watch the show. They would get this whole other audience.
That's
so.
my argument too. You are not going to lose.
Right, one person.
Honey, some of the never mind.
And,
I'm just saying, listen, if people are still watching after some of the stuff they've served, that Christmas special, they're not going to lose. Yeah.
and
Or I always
especially-
said, do a mother-daughter's, why can't I think of the
Right.
fucking word?
Episode.
Not
Mother-daughter
episode.
show. Series.
No.
Challenge.
What is the 1 year of a show or the
Season.
Season. Thank you. Mrs. Dash, Larry Season Salt. No, if they did a season of mother-daughter, so there's some queen sitting there saying, oh my God, Sherry Vine is my, idol. I like to do song parodies, and then Sherry walks in and says, guess what? We're competing together this, even if it was a short season.
It'd be like the drag voice.
Exactly.
There
Where you guys are coaches
go.
for the young girls.
Yes.
Well, that sounds good.
It would be called the manly voice.
Now it's time for a little game called Keyword Cunt. So we're gonna tell you a keyword, and I want you to look back into your memories of all your times working at clubs together and get a story that is based on the keyword
Got it.
that I'm gonna give you.
Ready.
And you can confer and get together, or you can do it separately.
But Sherry's an alcoholic who can't remember anything, right?
I remember everything you don't remember yesterday.
Just kidding.
All right, the first keyword cunt we have is trade. When you think of trade, what story pops into your mind? All right, Jerry.
Just the one, dear.
Well, because it involves both of us.
Oh, God.
Not a three-way, but at the same time. There was a night at Tunnel. It was Sunday night. I can't remember what it was called, but it was me, Jackie, Lena, and Candace. and we worked in the Kenny Scharf room, and we kind of took turns DJing and hosting and running around. And there was this man who was Egyptian, and he kept coming back to the DJ booth and being like, "Look how big my dick," and it was monstrous. And I think that we all had it, but at different times.
Wow. A rainbow party. I remember a guy coming up to me, I was in full drag, coming up to me at Squeeze Box and going, "You like to get your feet rubbed?" And it was like, that's my favorite thing in the fucking world.
Oh, really?
You know, I'm in heels all night,
yeah.
big girl. He's like, "You like to get your feet rubbed?" And it's like this fucking thug, like I was this Latin guy. I was like, "Yes, let's go back to your place. Bye, bye everybody." We go back to my place. He gets down, he starts rubbing my feet. Then he starts coming up my leg. I was like, "Whoa, no, you're gonna rub my fucking feet? Are you serious? That was just something I say." I'm like, "Well, it's just something I do. So rub those feet, Jose."
Squeeze Box is the best trade. I mean, I literally had sex with a different straight man every Friday night. It was some reason, like these straight guys would go there and just lose all in a bit, like, "Okay, whatever. I'm here tonight. I don't care. Whatever happens, happens."
Love it. And you got that foot rub and rubbing a whole lot of other things, right, Lady Red?
Well, when it's there, it's there.
Do you remember the human foot cushion? He would come to Squeeze Box and get down on all fours and be like, "Do you need to rest your feet?" And people could put their feet up on him, and he would just sit there.
Wow.
Was his name Otto? Ottoman?
Wow.
All right, next keyword, Kent. And I'm pretty sure Cher is going to definitely have a story for this. What comes to your mind? What story? What adventure when you hear the word poop?
I'm not going to say. You got to tell yours.
Don't tell my story. I was at Squeeze Box.
Everything starts at Squeeze Box.
No, I had done some gig, and it was relatively early, and I was in full drag, and I was like, I can't waste this beat. So I went to Dawn Hills, which is where Squeeze Box was, but it was really, like, that party didn't get started till like midnight. You know, like nobody started showing up, so there was hardly anybody there. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, full drag, like, my stomach just starts like gurgling. I was like, I start sweating, like the cold, so I was like, oh my God. I'm like, "You guys, I gotta go." I go outside, I hail a cab. I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna make this. Like, I feel so sick right now." So anyway, he's hitting every red light, every fucking pothole. By the time we get to my apartment, South Street Seaport, I throw $20 at him and run out of the car and stick the key in the front door. It's a third floor walk up. And the floodgates opened. I was wearing boots up to my knee, 3 pairs of pantyhose and a girdle, and literally it went like... It filled up the boots. I walked up the 3 flights of marble steps. Anyway, I went inside and my roommate was like, I went into the bathroom and took everything off, and my roommate was like, "What the hell's going on?" I was like, I just got so sick. Anyway, I took everything off, threw it all away, got in the shower. When I came out, he had this big bucket of bleach with a mop, and I had to like do every single step, 3 flights. It was horrible.
horrible.
And Mario's like, "You can't tell that story."
Oh my God, it's my favorite story.
I told it in like HX magazine like a month later.
It's still, every time I hear it, I still laugh. It's hilarious.
What about there's a muffin on the mannequin? You remember that story? It was cake.
Oh, God.
Was that the club? The
Can't remember
dark room was
anything.
in the basement, and they had sort of decorated it with like, there was a few mannequins
Right.
and like trying to be artsy fartsy.
Right.
Well, your roommate Eric Jackson used to like kind of clean up, and it was pretty much just like, you know, used condom here, like just wipe down, spray. He went down there and he comes back up. He's like, "There's a muffin on the mannequin." Somebody shit on the mannequin. Oh my God.
They took a shit in their hand. They're like, I'm just gonna put that here.
What is going on? What a disgusting lifestyle.
Hello, children. To see part 3 of this interview, click here. To see more Hey Qween fabulousness, click here. And don't forget to subscribe, bitch! Hey! Hey! Hey!